Hello everybody and welcome to AutoRABIT Golden Gate, also known as AutoRABIT 4.7. This is a minor release from AutoRABIT, however there's a lot of features that are packed into the release that you might find quite useful. So we'll be walking you through all the different features that are available, and if you want to learn more about the entire release as a whole, you can view our website. Under the release notes section, we have the complete release notes for the Golden Gate release, or if you go to AutoRABIT, click on Quick Links and About AutoRABIT, you'll have this pop-up here where you can click for the release notes as well. One of the first features we'll look at is the ability to create your CI workflow based on the results of external build tools, like Jenkins, for example. One of the most common use cases is to be able to run regression tests or really any kind of test script in Jenkins and have AutoRABIT call a Jenkins job. And what we'll do now is, based on the results of that Jenkins job, AutoRABIT will decide whether to continue with the CI workflow or go ahead and stop the job as test scripts failed. AutoRABIT now has the ability to validate your backup packages with your CI processes. So for instance, if you do a production deployment, you typically want to take a backup for sure. Now, sometimes you definitely want to validate just to ensure that the backup is going to go successfully if you ever were to roll back your changes post a production deployment. And it does give a lot more confidence. So in order to actually run the validation rollback, if you have a rollback selected as part of your CI process, you'll have this rollback icon here. Once you click on Run Rollback, you'll have this screen where under Additional Deployment Options, you have Validate Only. Once you click on that and click on Yes, it will start the rollback and validation process. One of the enhancements we made for the merge screen is the ability to create a commit label or append a commit label directly from the screen itself. So for instance, here I selected a single revision, and if I select the option to create commit label, it will automatically create one based off of the merge label name that I provide. Or if I were to select a commit label itself to do my merge from, it will go ahead and append the commit label with the merged revision, making it a lot easier for you to move this down the line. One of the improvements that we made for the Salesforce DX integration is the ability to define package dependencies whenever you're creating a module or unlock packages. So simply, I can define what are my dependencies for the package or module I'm creating. I can also go ahead and define the order that I want these dependencies to be deployed in. And once everything is defined, we'll automatically be able to deploy these packages and dependent packages whenever creating a scratch. A minor change we made under the commit validation history screen, more specifically under the summary section, is the ability to see what options were selected as a part of this commit process. So as a user, you do have many options to choose from whenever you're performing a commit, and we want to ensure that that does get captured and shown within the UI itself, making it much easier for approvers to understand what was selected and decide whether to approve or reject this particular commit request. A common feedback we receive from our customers is whenever you run a merge process and select the dry run option like I've done here, there's no way for you to trigger the merge directly from the screen. You would have to set up the entire process again and select merge instead of dry run in order to actually carry on with the merge process itself. So one of the changes that we made is the ability to actually trigger a merge directly from the screen if you were to run it as a dry run. So at the far end here, you'll see the action section where I both have summary, but I can also select initiate merge, and this will only be available if you ran it as a dry run. After selecting that option, I click on yes, and it'll actually go ahead and initiate the merge process itself. As a user, you now have the ability to choose whether you want to include or exclude a .git or .svn folder whenever you're downloading conflicting files. So for instance, after I select this file here, I'll select the download option, and I'm presented with, do I wish to include the .git folder, as this is a Git repository. So here I'll choose yes or no, and once I do so, it will go ahead and actually download the particular conflicting file itself. We've received feedback from our community that we should default all the destructive changes to run as a post-destructive change. Now, of course, we want to ensure that the option is always there to run it as a pre-destructive change if you choose to. So for example, under the CI module here, we have the destructive type, and you could choose to run it as a pre or post-destructive change. And the same is true for our deployments module as well. Now, after you choose what kind of action you want to run destructive changes as, you will be able to see what were the destructive changes that were run, and of course, was it a pre or post destructive change in both the CI module as well as under the deployments module. We've made two improvements when it comes to our test automation factory, one of which is to provide more information within the logs, especially if a test case fails, much as you see here. We have a lot of failed test cases. I can click on view log and get a lot more information. But also, we've provided multi-language support. So, for instance, if you have special characters in languages such as German, for example, or maybe Spanish, we'll be able to capture those particular characters whenever you run a test script. If you'd like to learn more about the Golden Gate release, feel free to visit our website under Resources and Release Notes. You'll find the entire release notes for this release. Also, if you'd like to see a demo of AutoRABIT or learn more, feel free to contact us at info@autorabit.com and we'll be more than happy to help you. And with that, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and welcome to AutoRABIT Golden Gate.